Hi everyone, welcome back to the Internet Storyteller, where I share the latest, greatest, and sometimes the most horrific stories of the internet. Please do subscribe to the channel if you've enjoyed the content. Today we've got some entitled parent stories, as well as revenge stories. So, the very first entitled parent story is, Entitled Mom Tries to Get Me to Quit Because of Heterochromia, then tries to get me fired for talking to my girlfriend. Around 2.5 months ago, I turned 14, and thus I was able to get my first job at my local Zaxby's. This, however, was around 3 days ago. I work at the cash register, but I was covering one of my friends on my day off, working in the drive-thru. I'm 14 years old, but I'm just slightly above average height, 5'9". Average around here where I live is about 5'7"-ish. And people say that I have a really deep voice. So do people that aren't from around where I live tend to think I'm just a really short adult. Most think I'm 19 to 20 years old. My girlfriend surprised me at work on Saturday, so I took my lunch break and ate inside the restaurant because she'd been craving it and I get an employee discount. Now, my girlfriend is extremely short, and though her makeup and choice of clothing makes her look way older than she actually is, she's still obviously somewhere between 13 and 15. So while my girlfriend and I are having a fun little conversation about movies, some woman with a longer version of the "can I speak to the manager" haircut approached us with her son, who looked to about 3 years old. The lady says, "Can you move? I don't want my son catching your eye disease." I have a disorder called heterochromia, which is where, in my case, my left eye is a warm brown color and my right eye is emerald green. It is a harmless genetic thing, and it is not in any way contagious. I say, "Nah, I'm good. I'm in the middle of a conversation and my eye disease isn't contagious at all." I then look back to my girlfriend. The woman says, "Look, mister, whatever you and your niece are talking about can't be that important. Now, my son is very tired, and it wouldn't be that hard for you to move. I don't want him catching your disease. I'm a paying customer and you have to move." I say, "She's not my niece. She's my girlfriend." And then this look of just pure horror spreads over her face. She says, "You sick person!" The woman shrieked as she pulled my girlfriend out of her chair to get away from me. All the while, I'm calling out that I'm 14 years old. The lady says, "She's a kid, you sick, horrible person. Leave her alone." At this point, my 4'8" girlfriend is kicking and pulling in an attempt to get out of the entitled mom's grasp and back to me. Then my manager came over and asked what the heck was happening. This entitled mom freaks out and tells this whole story about how I was, quote, assaulting this poor young girl, and I was, quote, being rude and offensive to her and her son. At this point, my manager said that he knows for a fact that I'm 14 and that this is my girlfriend. He also said that if the entitled mom did not leave the building immediately, he would call the police and have them arrest her for creating a public disturbance and assault. The entitled mom turns cherry red and says that she would never return to Zaxby's. She says this with a melodramatic and exaggerated heel turn. The entitled mom drags her kid, who was actually nice. The kid had never made a noise and just looked kind of sad and apologetic through the whole encounter, behind her. Edit 1. I got a lot of questions about the job thing. The legal age to hold a job is 16 in the US, but certain places can hire you at 14. Edit 2. I did not handle this as well as everyone thinks. When my manager came over, my hand was close enough to the Karen's neck that I could feel her nose breath on my hand. Whoa! Well, I don't know. I guess the kid had his hand close enough to her neck. I'm not sure I approve of that, but this woman was quite crazy. What did you guys think of this entitled mom story? The second story that we have is, why would anyone need a service dog in a museum? You're just faking so you can take your dog here. Okay. This happened a year ago. I am bad at processing years, so actually, I'm sorry, this is 2 years ago, and this is also attributed to my disability, which I guess will be described later on. I kind of forgot about it honestly until this weekend when I took my service pup out for some fun at the aquarium for the very first time. We went to a sea lion show. She was so good. I live in DC. It's a major tourist city around holidays because the museums are free admission, which is even better if you live here. Sometimes I like to play tourist, and it's also great for my service pup to not lose her experience, if you will. I used to take her to my classes, college, but I found that I've gotten a bit better on my own. She helps me with anxiety and locating exits. I have panic attacks often, PTSD. Certainly not as bad as another post where the original poster had seizures, but it still makes an impact having her there for me, especially in crowds. Because DC is a tourist destination, often the people in the museums are there for vacation. They don't care to act civilly and how you should normally be in public. For some reason, I don't know why these people lose all their common sense. So the cast of characters includes EP, entitled soon-to-be parent. CD is a generally cool dude who is not having it with this woman. EF is the entitled family group these two people were with, and I'm assuming they were all family members. SG is chill security guard dude. Me is yours truly. Pup is Ellie the Batgirl, the star of the show unfortunately, but she's the best little girl. As a puppy, she's had a bat shape on her booty, hence the name Ellie the Batgirl. It was around the time Star Wars Force Awakens came out, and there were super cool costumes on display in the Air and Space Museum. Our mission was mostly to keep her on her toes in a public setting. It had been a week or so since we were in a crowd or on the metro. We had been at the museum for a few hours, and she was very well behaved, not reacting when parents would stick their kids on us to pet her despite the vest and the big bold letters, "Do not pet." I had to ask the parents to please keep their children from petting my working service animal. Without the vest on, I would love it for these kids to have fun. Most of them were shy or pointed out the "do not pet" sign to their parents. It was almost time to go, and we were walking around the main area displays. Enter entitled parent and company. I was looking at a shuttle, Pup sitting at my feet, when I hear from behind obnoxiously loud voice saying, the entitled parent says, "It's so stupid. Why would anyone need a service dog in a museum of all places?" The entitled family, talking a bit lower, how people should respect the rules and not come into a public space with animals, even for health reasons. The cool dude was absent from the conversation. And as for myself, with my anxiety, I normally walk away. But this time was different. I couldn't stand by and let them do this to someone else that they'd encounter. I started walking over to confront them, with my pup, of course. The cool dude says, "Oh no," or something. He clearly didn't want this and didn't agree with them. I say, "Can you repeat for me, please, what you just said?" looking at the entitled parent and entitled family. They pause, all blank stares. In disbelief, I'd walk over. Entitled parent finally says, I just don't understand why you felt you had to take your dog to a public building. You don't need her here. You look perfectly fine. I say, in case you didn't know, most disabilities are not visible to the eye. My service animal performs tasks to simply allow me to live a normal life as you do. Are you saying I don't have the simple right to come enjoy my favorite museum? The pup gets closer to me and stands in front defensively. The entitled parent says, well, you should be wearing something saying you need help. I say, well, my dog and her vest are my indication and are an extension of myself. No one else is handling her, and that's just stupid. You want me to be any more branded by my disability? That's just effed up. The entitled parent says, you can't swear, there are kids around. I can see security guards getting wind of this and coming over. They take this stuff pretty seriously. I say, you have been yelling and acting like a child the moment I heard your voice across the room. We are doing nothing to harm you by existing. Get on with your sad life, lady. The security guard says, hey, what seems to be the trouble? The entitled parent says, her service dog isn't real. She's not disabled. Security guard says, ma'am, I can assure you the dog is a service animal. Please leave this woman alone or I will escort you and your entire family out of the building. I go here often, so the security guard must have remembered me, or he didn't want to deal with this horrible lady. The entitled parent says, excuse me, but we are here on vacation and came all the way across the country to this museum, and we are not leaving. She clearly misheard him. If she calmed down, then she would have known that she was free to stay. The security guard says some code into his radio. Ma'am, I'm asking you to leave quietly or I will have to force you to exit the building. The entitled parent and company leave all huffed and upset. I feel bad that chill dude had to leave. He didn't ask for any of this. I apologize to the security guard. He said that they had been rude the entire time and that the entitled parent refused to go into the cancer machine, quote unquote, which was the metal detector, and was upset with having to get a pat down, which held up the line. And that's it. No real big ending here, and I don't think I would have been able to take much more confrontation than this. Ellie got many extra pats and treats. The too long didn't read is entitled parent and family say service animals should not be in public spaces, try to get me kicked out of a museum my pup and I frequent. Okay, so what do you guys think of this second story? Wow, that's a pretty cool puppy. And, you know, we used to live in the DC area, so I know that the DC museums are, in fact, very awesome. So hope you guys have a chance to visit those DC museums. So I hope you guys enjoyed these two stories, and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks. Bye.